Hello guys, welcome to Saiyan What Ifs. So in this video, we will see, what if Goku became the eternal flame god and got married with the goddess of fire? If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Blank, blank, underscore, blank. Chapter 1. Divine Conflagration. The Tournament of Power had ended, yet Goku felt hollow despite their universe's survival. Floating cross-legged in the vacuum between dimensions, he contemplated what Ultra Instinct had briefly revealed, a glimpse of something beyond even divine ki. His body still ached, cells remembering a power they could no longer contain. The Grand Priest's warning echoed in his mind. Mortal flesh was never meant to channel such energy. There has to be more, he whispered to the cosmos, his words dissipating into the kaleidoscopic void of the dimensional rift where he'd retreated to think. Whis had taught him to access this place, not quite physical space, not entirely spiritual realm, where reality thinned and cosmic energies flowed more freely. A flicker of crimson light pulsed in the distance. Curious, Goku uncrossed his legs and drifted toward it. Unlike the calculated movements of his training, this was pure instinct. The same instinct that had always led him toward greater challenges. The crimson light pulsated faster as he approached, like a heartbeat accelerating in anticipation. "You shouldn't be here, Saiyan." The voice materialized before its owner, rich and resonant, carrying the crackle of burning timber beneath smooth tones. A woman emerged from the crimson light, though woman seemed insufficient. Her skin shimmered with golden undertones that occasionally rippled into patterns resembling solar flares. Hair the color of molten copper floated around her face as if underwater, defying the non-gravity of this place. Her eyes contained no whites or pupils, only the orange gold of a star's heart. "I'm Goku," he said, offering his characteristic grin despite the overwhelming presence before him. Quote, "Are you the one who's been calling me here?" Her expression shifted from surprise to suspicion. "Calling you? I've done no such thing. This is the nexus of eternal flame. No mortal has ever found it, let alone been summoned." She circled him slowly, her movements leaving trails of sparkling embers. "You're different. Something about your energy signature is unlike any mortal I've encountered." Goku felt no threat from her scrutiny, only intense curiosity. "I've been feeling something pulling me here since the tournament. Something familiar." He extended his hand toward the pulsing crimson light beyond her. "What is that?" Her arm shot out, blocking his path. Where their energies met, the space between them crackled with golden sparks. The eternal flame itself, the primordial fire from which all heat and transformation in the multiverse springs. "It is not for mortal hands, son Goku. You know my name." He cocked his head, studying her more carefully now. "I am Amara, goddess of fire. I know all who have ever channeled flame-like energy." Her lips curved slightly. "You're Super Saiyan. Transformation draws on principles of cosmic fire, a crude approximation, but noteworthy for a mortal. Your recent evolution was even more interesting." The crimson light pulsed more violently, sending waves of energy that Goku could feel resonate within his cells. Each pulse synchronized with his heartbeat. "It wants me," he said simply, with the certainty that had carried him through countless battles. Amara's expression hardened. "Impossible. The eternal flame chooses no avatar. It simply is, constant since the universe's birth." Another pulse, stronger than before. Goku winced as his scars from the tournament flared with sympathetic pain. Something was happening to his body, cells remembering Ultra Instinct but transforming differently. "Something's wrong," he managed through clenched teeth as golden red energy began to crackle around him. "Step back from the nexus," Amara commanded, her own aura flaring defensively. "Your mortal form cannot withstand proximity to pure cosmic fire." But Goku couldn't move away. The crimson light stretched toward him in tendrils, weaving around his limbs like curious serpents. Where they touched, his skin glowed from within, revealing the network of key pathways throughout his body. It should have been agony. Instead, it felt like recognition. "This isn't right," Amara whispered, her confident demeanor faltering. "The flame doesn't reach out. It doesn't choose. It doesn't." Her words cut off as the crimson light exploded outward, enveloping Goku completely. Inside the cocoon of cosmic fire, he felt every atom of his being disassembled and reconstructed. His Saiyan DNA unwound, examined by an ancient consciousness, then rewoven with something older than biological life itself. Through the pain came understanding, flashes of knowledge spanning billions of years, the birth of stars, the dance of elements across countless worlds. Outside the cocoon, Amara had summoned her divine weapons, twin chakrams of concentrated fire energy. Release him, she commanded the flame, though her voice betrayed uncertainty. In all her eons of existence, she had never seen the eternal flame act with apparent will. Inside, Goku's consciousness expanded beyond his physical form. He saw threads of reality connecting all things, the underlying patterns of creation usually hidden from mortal perception. Most distinctly, he perceived fire, not just physical flame, but the metaphysical concept of transformation, change, and purification that fire represented across all existence. You have been preparing for this, a voice that wasn't a voice communicated directly to his mind. Every battle, every near death, every transformation, steps toward becoming a suitable vessel. Vessel for what? Goku asked into the void of his transforming consciousness. For me, for what mortals call the eternal flame. For the cosmic principle of transformative power that exists outside your limited perceptions of time and space. I don't understand, Goku admitted, honest as always even in this extraordinary circumstance. I'm just a fighter looking for my next challenge. Something like amusement rippled through the cosmic energy surrounding him. Precisely, the eternal seeking of transformation. You embody my fundamental nature more than any being since the universe's dawn. The cocoon of light began to collapse inward, not diminishing but compressing, folding into Goku's reconstructed form. His cells absorbed the cosmic fire, integrating it into his very being until the boundary between Saiyan and flame became indistinguishable. When the light finally dissipated, Goku stood transformed. His usual GI had been replaced by attire that seemed woven from solidified flame, deep crimson fabric that occasionally rippled with patterns of golden fire. His black hair now contained strands of copper and gold that shifted with his movements. Most strikingly, his eyes burned with inner light, not the blank white of ultra instinct, but the living gold of cosmic fire itself. Amara lowered her weapons, shock evident in her expression. Impossible, she breathed. The eternal flame has never taken avatar form. It cannot be contained within a single being, especially not a former mortal. Goku looked down at his hands, watching small flames dance between his fingers without burning his skin. He could feel the power coursing through him, different from ki, different even from divine energy. This was something more fundamental, a direct connection to one of the universe's foundational forces. I feel everything, he said, his voice carrying new resonance. Every flame in existence, from candles on earth to the hearts of stars. I can feel them all. He looked up at Amara, his expression a mixture of wonder and concern. What's happened to me? Before she could answer, the dimensional space around them shuddered violently. Reality itself seemed to protest the transformation they had witnessed. Cracks appeared in the void, leaking cold darkness that hissed where it met their fiery auras. The cosmic balance, Amara said urgently. Your transformation has disrupted it. We need to leave this place before. The cracks widened, and through them poured crystalline entities, humanoid in shape but composed of jagged ice that absorbed light rather than reflecting it. Their movements were fluid despite their composition, wielding weapons that seemed carved from a single dark crystal. Frost sentinels, Amara spat, chakram spinning into defensive position. The Dominion doesn't waste time, do they? Goku's fighting instincts instantly assessed the threat. 6 opponents, unknown capabilities, but clearly hostile. Despite his transformation, those core instincts remained unchanged. Friends of yours? He asked, dropping into a familiar combat stance that now sent small flames spiraling around his limbs. Hardly. They serve the Frost Domini. A collective of ice deities who oppose everything fire represents. Change, growth, freedom. Amara hurled one chakram at the approaching sentinels, slicing cleanly through one's crystalline torso. They prefer stasis, preservation, control. Goku nodded, understanding the fundamental opposition. Without conscious thought, he extended his hand and summoned not ki but pure fire energy, a blazing sphere that hummed with contained power. Then let's heat things up. He launched forward with speed that surprised even him, leaving trails of flame where his feet touched the dimensional void. The sentinels attempted to surround him, ice weapons forming jagged geometric patterns designed to trap rather than kill. They want to capture you, Amara called out, engaged with her own opponents. Your newborn power interests them. Goku grinned despite the danger, feeling strangely at home in combat even with these unfamiliar powers. They'll have to do better than this. He released the fire sphere. Not as a projectile but as an expanding nova of heat that washed over 3 sentinels simultaneously. Where the energy touched their ice forms, complex reactions occurred, not simple melting but fun. A mental destabilization of their structure. They didn't shatter but rather unraveled, cosmic patterns within their ice disrupted beyond repair. Careful, Amara shouted. You're not just destroying ire forms but unwriting their essence from reality. Goku pulled back immediately, instinctively understanding what she meant. These weren't living beings with ki he could sense and respect, they were cosmic constructs like himself. But his new power could erase them completely. Even for enemies, that felt wrong. Right, he acknowledged, adjusting his approach. Against the remaining sentinels, he employed more focused fire, not to destroy but to contain. With precise gestures, he created rings of flame that contracted around the ice beings, holding them immobile without unmaking them. Amara patched her final opponent with a complex maneuver that separated the sentinel into component crystals without destroying its fundamental pattern. When the battle cleared, she turned to Goku with newfound wariness. You adapted quickly to cosmic combat, she observed. Most new deities take centuries to develop such control. Goku shrugged, the motion sending ripples of flame across his shoulders. Fighting's what I do. The energy's different, but the principles are the same. He looked at the contained sentinels. What do we do with them? We should return them to the Frost Dominion. Destroying cosmic entities creates imbalances. She approached one of Goku's captured sentinels, examining his handiwork. Impressive restraint, especially for one newly ascended. I don't like killing if I can avoid it, Goku said simply. Then, wincing slightly, he pressed a hand to his chest. Something feels strange, like I'm expanding. Alarm flashed across Amara's features. We need to leave this place. Your transformation is still stabilizing, and the dimensional void is too unstable. She waved her hand, creating a portal of swirling flame. This leads to the realm of embers, my domain. We'll be safer there while I figure out exactly what's happened to you. Goku nodded, though he cast a questioning glance at the contained sentinels. What about them? They'll return to their masters once we're gone. They can only maintain form in this void temporarily. She gestured impatiently toward the portal. Now come. The Frost Dominion will send more forces once they realize what's happened. Goku stepped through the portal without hesitation, his new senses somehow recognizing the pattern of Amara's creation as safe. The dimensional void vanished, replaced by a landscape that defied conventional physics. The realm of embers stretched before him, islands of obsidian floating in a sea of perpetual flame that burned without consuming. The sky above swirled with colors ranging from deep crimson to brilliant gold, occasionally flashing with what looked like solar flares. In the distance, mountains shaped like perfect pyramids rose from the flame sea, their slopes covered in forests of crystalline trees that glowed from within. This is your home? Goku asked, turning slowly to take in the impossible beauty. One of my domains, Amara corrected, stepping through the portal behind him. The physical manifestation of cosmic fire's principles, where I've dwelled since this universe's creation. She studied him with those star-core eyes. And now, apparently, yours as well. Goku frowned slightly. I don't understand. What exactly happened back there? Amara paced along the obsidian shore, flames from the burning sea occasionally leaping up to caress her feet affectionately. In all of cosmic history, the eternal flame has existed as a universal constant, a foundational force that enables transformation throughout reality. It has never taken conscious form, never chosen a representative. She stopped, turning to face him directly. Until you. Why me? Goku asked, genuinely puzzled. That, Amara said with a mixture of irritation and curiosity, is what we need to determine. She gestured for him to follow her along the shoreline. Your transformation is unprecedented. The eternal flame doesn't just represent fire as mortals understand it, it embodies the cosmic principle of transformation itself. Change, evolution, the breaking of limitations. That sounds familiar, Goku admitted, thinking of his life's journey from the forests of Earth to battles with gods. Indeed, perhaps that's why it chose you. A being who constantly pushes beyond established boundaries, whose entire existence revolves around transformation and growth. She led him toward a structure. In the distance, a palace of black glass and living flame. But that creates a problem. Just one, Goku asked with a hint of his old humor. The cosmic balance requires equilibrium between fundamental forces. Fire and ice, change and permanence, creation and destruction. Amara's expression darkened. By merging with the eternal flame, you've shifted that balance dramatically. The Frost Dominion's attack was just the beginning. Every cosmic force opposed to fire will sense the disruption and respond. As they approached the palace, Goku noticed smaller beings moving among its structures, humanoid but clearly not human. Their bodies composed of living flame contained within vaguely solid forms. They bowed deeply as Amara passed. My attendants, she explained. Lesser fire entities who maintain the realm of embers. Inside the palace, corridors of obsidian opened into vast chambers where fiery constellations danced across domed ceilings. Amara led him to a circular room at the heart of the structure, where a pool of golden liquid flame bubbled gently. The scrying pool, she said, gesturing toward it. It allows us to observe reality through the lens of cosmic fire. She waved her hand over the pool, and images formed in the liquid flame, Earth, as seen from space, then zooming closer to show familiar locations. Goku spotted the small house he shared with Chi-Chi, and his expression grew troubled. My family, he said quietly. They don't know where I am. Amara's expression softened slightly. Time flows differently between cosmic realms and mortal worlds. What feels like days here might be mere moments on Earth. She studied him curiously. You maintain strong connections to your mortal life, even after ascension. That's unusual. Before Goku could respond, the pool's surface rippled violently. The image of Earth dissolved, replaced by a laboratory filled with complex equipment. A woman with short, ash-blonde hair tied back pragmatically worked frantically among instruments that sparked and smoked. Readouts on screens around her showed energy patterns spiraling into chaotic configurations. What's happening? Goku asked, leaning closer to the pool. Someone is detecting the cosmic disruption your transformation caused, Amara said, surprise evident in her tone. A mortal, somehow sensitized to cosmic fire energy. The woman in the lab grabbed a device assembling a handheld satellite dish and pointed it toward the ceiling. Her mouth moved, though they couldn't hear her words. Amara waved her hand again, and sound emerged from the pool. Unprecedented surge in metaphysical fire signatures. The woman was saying, her voice carrying a clipped accent and rapid cadence suggesting a mind working faster than her words could express. Localized disruption with multiverse-wide implications. The pyrometric scale readings are off the charts. She adjusted dials on her equipment, heedless of the small fires breaking out around her laboratory. Energy C.G. Nature indicates personification of cosmic principle, impossible by all established theories, yet the data is conclusive. She laughed suddenly, a sound of pure scientific excitement. The eternal flame has chosen an avatar. Every predictive model I created is shattered, but I was right about the fundamental nature of cosmic fire. Who is she? Goku asked, fascinated by the woman's enthusiasm despite obvious danger. Amara frowned. Kenna Pyrolus, a scientist from Earth who's spent her life studying what mortals can perceive of cosmic fire. I've observed her occasionally. Her theories come remarkably close to cosmic truth, though limited by mortal perspective. In the pool, Kenna was hurriedly packing equipment into a case, still talking to herself. The epicenter can be triangulated. Yes, why? S. Hawaii's volcanic network provides the perfect amplification array. If I can calibrate the flame resonance detector to match the new signature. The image suddenly distorted as frost formed across the laboratory windows. Kenna looked up, alarm replacing excitement as the temperature in the room visibly plummeted. Her breath fogged before her face as she grabbed her case and backed toward the door. No, 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 she muttered. Frost interference wasn't predicted for at least 24 hours after manifestation. Unless, her eyes widened with realization. Unless the eternal flame chose someone already significant. Someone already disrupting cosmic balance. Crystal formations began growing across her laboratory floor, climbing equipment and walls with unnatural speed. Kenna bolted for the door, barely escaping as ice engulfed the room behind her. "They're targeting her," Goku said, straightening immediately. "Because she knows about cosmic fire." Amara nodded grimly. "The Frost Dominion moves faster than anticipated. They're eliminating knowledge sources that might help you understand your transformation." Goku's expression hardened with resolve. "I need to protect her. How do I get to Earth from here?" "You don't understand," Amara said sharply. "You can't simply return to the mortal realm as you are now. Your very presence would disrupt the fabric of reality there. SMIC entities like us exist partially outside physical space. We manifest aspects of ourselves when interacting with lower realms." "Then teach me how," Goku insisted. "There's an innocent person in danger because of me." Amara studied him for a long moment. "Your mortal attachments remain strong," she observed, though without judgment. "Very well, I can teach you to project a manifestation to Earth. Though it will be difficult for one newly ascended." She moved away from the pool, standing in an open area of the chamber. "Close your eyes. Feel the cosmic fire that now constitutes your being. It exists beyond physical space, connecting all transformative forces throughout reality." Goku did as instructed, reaching inward to sense the new energy that had replaced his familiar ki. Where once flowed life force, now burned something more fundamental, a connection to the universe's creative principle itself. "Now," Amara continued, "visualize Earth. Not as a planet, but as a nexus of flame possibilities, every campfire, every volcanic eruption, every spark of inspiration in mortal minds. Feel how all connect to the eternal flame you now embody." Goku concentrated, his perception expanding beyond the palace, beyond the realm of embers, reaching across dimensional boundaries until he sensed Earth, a beautiful network of fire energy ranging from the planet's molten core to the smallest match strike. Among those countless flames, one burned with unusual brightness, Kenna Pyrolis, her life force somehow resonating with cosmic fire more strongly than those around her. "I can feel her," he said, eyes still closed. "She's running, scared. Those ice things are following." "Focus on her flame signature," Amara instructed. "Will a portion of your consciousness to manifest near her. Intent is reality for cosmic beings." Goku concentrated, imagining himself standing beside the fleeing scientist. For a moment, nothing happened. Then he felt a curious splitting sensation, as if part of his awareness was being stretched across an immense distance while still remaining in the palace chamber. In Kenna's reality, air molecules suddenly superheated, forming a swirling vortex of flame that coalesced into Goku's form. He stood on a mountain path where Kenna had fled, her laboratory visible in the valley below, now completely encased in crystalline ice that reflected no light. Kenna stumbled backward at his appearance, nearly dropping her equipment case. "Impossible," she whispered, eyes wide behind practical rectangular glasses. "Direct manifestation of anthropomorphized cosmic fire principle." Goku felt oddly disconnected, simultaneously standing before the startled scientist and watching through the scrying pool beside Amara. "You're in danger," he said to Kenna, his voice carrying unusual resonance. "Those ice creatures are hunting you because of your research." Kenna blinked rapidly, scientific curiosity temporarily overriding fear. "Fascinating. You display awareness of current circumstances and communicate in English rather than raw conceptual energy." She adjusted her glasses with her free hand. "Are you the eternal flame's consciousness, or a pre-existing entity it chose as avatar?" Despite the situation's urgency, Goku couldn't help but smile at her reaction. Second 1. "I'm Goku. Or I was. It's complicated." A crackling sound from the path below interrupted the introduction. Crystalline figures were emerging from the frozen laboratory, their faceted heads turning with mechanical precision to scan the mountainside. "Frost Sentinels," Kenna identified, fear returning. "I theorized their existence, but confirmation under these circumstances is hardly comforting." She glanced at Goku. "If you're truly the eternal flame's avatar, you should be able to neutralize them. Cosmic fire fundamentally opposes crystallized stasis energy." Goku raised his hand, surprised at how natural it felt to channel cosmic fire despite never having done so on Earth before. Golden flames gathered in his palm, swirling with unusual patterns that seemed to contain mathematical equations within their movement. "Get behind me," he told Kenna, who complied with unusual alacrity. For someone who had been running moments before, the sentinels spotted them, moving up the path with uncanny speed, ice spreading before them like a winter carpet. When they were within range, Goku released the gathered fire not as a beam but as a wave of fundamental energy that rewrote local reality. Where it touched the advancing frost, natural laws reasserted themselves, ice returned to water, entropy increased. And the unnatural cold dispersed. 3 sentinels caught in the wave shattered, their cosmic patterns unable to maintain cohesion in suddenly normalized space. The others paused, ETED heads tilting as if communicating silently. "They're adapting," Kenna warned, monitoring readings on a small device pulled from her pocket. "Aligning their crystalline structure to resist standard cosmic fire disruption." Goku nodded, already sensing the change through his connection to the eternal flame. "Then we'll try something less standard." Drawing on instincts both old and new, the fighting genius of a Saiyan warrior merged with cosmic awareness of fire's true nature, he charged forward. Rather than attacking with projected energy, he engaged the sentinels directly, his movements leaving trails of golden flame. Where his fists connected with crystalline bodies, the impact went beyond physical. Each strike created momentary fusion between opposing cosmic forces, resulting in explosive transformations. The sentinels fought with coordinate precision, ice weapons forming and reforming to counter his attacks. Yet Goku moved with the unpredictability that had always characterized his fighting style, now enhanced by cosmic awareness that let him perceive weaknesses in his opponent's very essence. From the realm of embers, Amara watched through the scrying pool, her expression a mixture of astonishment and grudging approval. "He fights with a mortal's creativity but a cosmic entity's perception," she murmured. "Unprecedented combination." On Earth, Goku dispatched the final sentinel with a technique that looked deceptively simple, a palm strike to its center mass that introduced a seed of transformation into its static pattern. The crystalline being froze in place, then lapsed into ordinary water that splashed harmlessly across the mountain path. Kenna approached cautiously, scanning equipment running. "Extraordinary. You didn't destroy them with superior force, you reduced the concept of change into their crystallized stasis pattern." She looked up at him with undisguised fascination. "You're not just wielding cosmic fire as energy, you're applying its conceptual properties." Goku rubbed the back of his neck, a habitual gesture that seemed strangely mundane coming from a being of cosmic fire. "I just did what felt right," he admitted. "But they'll send more. You're not safe here." Kenna glanced back at her frozen laboratory, decades of research now entombed in supernatural ice. "Evidently not. But where exactly does one go when targeted by cosmic ice entities?" Her scientific detachment faltered slightly, revealing the very human fear beneath. "In the realm of embers," Amara spoke suddenly, "bring her here." Goku's consciousness, split between realms, registered surprise. "Can a mortal survive in your realm?" "Not typically," Amara admitted. "But she has unusual attunement to cosmic fire already. With protection, she could survive long enough to be useful." At Goku's questioning look, she added, "Her understanding of cosmic fire from a mortal scientific perspective might help us understand your transformation." Different knowledge systems sometimes reveal what familiarity blinds us to. Goku relayed the offer to Kenna, who responded with unexpected enthusiasm. Direct observation of a cosmic realm. Access to the eternal flame avatar for continued study. She clutched her equipment case tighter. "The opportunity outweighs the considerable risks. How do we proceed?" "I'm not entirely sure," Goku admitted. He could feel his manifestation on Earth becoming less stable, the effort of maintaining divided consciousness taxing his newly transformed essence. "I need to concentrate on creating a pathway." From the realm of embers, Amara sighed with something like impatience. "Allow me," she said, moving her hands in complex patterns over the scrying pool. The liquid flame within rose up, forming a miniature portal that expanded until it hovered before Goku's Earth manifestation. "Step through quickly," Amara's voice emerged from the portal. More sentinels approach, and your manifestation is destabilizing. Kenna hesitated only fly before scientific curiosity overcame caution. She stepped toward the portal, pausing only to ask Goku, will my equipment function in a cosmic realm? We're about to find out, he replied with characteristic optimism, ushering her through before following. As they crossed the dimensional boundary, Goku felt his consciousness snap back into unified awareness, the strange split perception end. As his Earth manifestation rejoined his true form in the realm of embers. The sensation was disorienting, like waking suddenly from a vivid dream. Kenna's arrival was less graceful. She stumbled from the portal, immediately dropping to her knees as the realm's supernatural atmosphere overwhelmed her mortal physiology. Her face paled to an alarming degree, lips taking on a bluish tint as she struggled to breathe air never intended for human lungs. She's dying, Goku said with alarm, kneeling beside the gasping scientist. Amara moved with unexpected swiftness, placing her hands on Kenna's shoulders. Golden energy flowed from the goddess into the mortal woman, creating a subtle aura that adjusted local conditions to something survivable. A temporary accommodation, Amara explained as Kenna's breathing stabilized. She remains mortal, but protected by my power while in this realm. Kenna recovered with remarkable quickness, her scientific mind already cataloging the impossible environment around her. Fascinating, she managed, voice raspy but strengthening. Non-Euclidean spatial properties, visible manifestation of conceptual energy matrices, quantum instability stabilized by conscious intent. She reached for instruments in her case with shaking hands. Must record initial readings before adaptation affects perception. Amara raised an eyebrow at Goku. You've brought a unique mortal into my realm. Goku smiled slightly. She reminds me of Bulma, a friend from Earth. Different field, same intensity. While Kenna busied herself with measurements, Amara led Goku to another area of the chamber. Your protection of this mortal was admirable, she said quietly, but it reveals a larger problem. You retain strong connections to your former life, yet you've become something beyond it. The transition will not be easy. What about my family? Goku asked, the question that had been troubling him since his transformation. My friends, can I ever return to them? Amara's expression softened marginally. Not as you were. Cosmic entities can manifest aspects in mortal realms, as you did today, but your true nature now exists beyond physical space. She gestured toward the scrying pool. You can observe, protect, even interact briefly, but prolonged presence would disrupt their reality. Goku absorbed this with uncharacteristic silence, the weight of his transformation finally registering fully. Everything he had known, his life, his relationships, even the straightforward joy of physical combat, had fundamentally changed. There must be a way, he said finally, determination hardening his features. I didn't ask for this power, but now that I have it, I'll find a way to make it work, for everyone. Across the chamber, Kenna suddenly exclaimed in excitement, drawing their attention. Incredible! The fundamental wave patterns of cosmic fire respond to conscious observation, not just measurement uncertainty but actual pattern reorganization. She looked up, eyes bright behind her glasses. This confirms my theory that consciousness and cosmic forces share underlying mathematical structures. Your mortal scientist seems to be adapting, Amara observed dryly. Kenna hurried over, seemingly oblivious to the fact that she was addressing cosmic entities. The readings I'm getting from you, she said directly to Goku, suggest your transformation isn't complete. The eternal flame hasn't fully integrated with your original energy matrix. Amara straightened, sudden concern evident in her posture. What do you mean, not complete? Kenna turned, apparently unintimidated by the goddess's reaction. Based on these harmonic resonance patterns, I'd estimate approximately 70% integration. She held up a device displaying complex waveforms. See these interference patterns. The original energy signature, Saiyan physiological baseline, I presume, still maintains partial independence from the cosmic fire matrix. Is that bad? Goku asked, looking between them. Potentially catastrophic, Amara said grimly. Cosmic principles require complete expression. A partially manifested eternal flame would be unstable, dangerous to all reality. But it could also be unprecedented opportunity. Kenna countered, scientific excitement overriding protocol. A hybrid entity maintaining both mortal perspective and cosmic power might bridge understandings impossible for either alone. Amara frowned. You speak of theoretical benefits while ignoring immediate dangers. If the transformation destabilizes, the palace shuddered suddenly, cutting off her words. The obsidian floors rippled like liquid, and the fiery constellations overhead flared with unusual brightness. Outside, visible through crystalline windows, the flame sea rose in massive waves. What's happening? Goku asked, instinctively dropping into a defensive stance. Cosmic response, Amara said tersely, moving toward the chamber's center. The universe reacting to fundamental imbalance. She turned to face Goku directly. Your partial transformation threatens the cosmic order more than I realized. We're running out of time. What do we do? He asked, characteristically direct even in extraordinary circumstances. Two possibilities, she replied. Complete your transformation, severing all connection to your former existence, or relinquish the eternal flame entirely, returning it to its non-conscious state. Neither is acceptable, Goku said immediately, the certainty in his voice surprising both women. I won't abandon my family and friends, but I won't give up power that might protect them either. You may not have a choice, Amara began, but Kenna interrupted. Wait. The scientist adjusted her glasses, mind working visibly. The readings suggest a third possibility, though highly theoretical. The interference patterns aren't chaotic, they're establishing a new harmonic. Not cosmic power subsuming mortal essence or vice versa, but true integration creating something unprecedented. Impossible, Amara stated flatly. Cosmic principles cannot be altered. Not altered, Kenna corrected, evolved. Just as biological systems adapt to new conditions, why not cosmic ones? Especially when the cosmic principle in question literally embodies transformation. Another tremor shook the palace, stronger than before. Outside, the sky darkened as if cosmic night were falling for the first time in this eternal realm. Amara's expression shifted from dismissal to uncertain consideration. Even if theoretically possible, such evolution would require a catalyst, something to stabilize the integration process. Quote, or someone, Goku said suddenly, understanding flowing from his partial connection to cosmic awareness. Someone who embodies the balancing principle to help guide the transformation. His eyes met Amara's, and understanding passed between them. The original goddess of fire, he continued, working with the new avatar of the eternal flame. Together, we GHT find balance that neither could achieve alone. Amara's expression remained skeptical, but something else flickered behind her star-core eyes, curiosity, perhaps, or the first glimmer of possibility. It would require direct energy exchange, she said slowly. A merging of cosmic awareness unprecedented between distinct entities. I believe the technical term, Kenna interjected, unable to contain her scientific enthusiasm even in crisis, would be synchronized reality manipulation through conceptual resonance. The realm shuddered again, cracks appearing in reality itself, jagged lines of absolute darkness cutting through the chamber walls. Through them, glimpses of other realms flashed momentarily. Frozen wastelands, churning void, worlds of pure mathematical abstraction. We're out of time for debate, Amara said. Decision made. She approached Goku, her movements carrying new purpose. If we attempt this, there is no certainty of success. Goku met her gaze steadily. Nothing worth doing comes with guarantees. He replied, the simple wisdom that had guided him through countless battles. Amara nodded once, then extended her hands. Then let us remake cosmic reality, Son Goku. He took her offered hands without hesitation. Where their fingers interlaced, golden fire spiraled around their joined hands, crawling up their arms to encircle both figures in a double helix of cosmic flame. Fascinating, Kenna whispered, recording frantically as the swirling energy intensified. Direct manipulation of foundational reality through conceptual harmonization. Within the spiral of cosmic fire, Goku felt Amara's consciousness touch his, ancient beyond comprehension, complex in ways his mortal mind could never have grasped. Yet his transformed awareness could perceive her now, no. She just as goddess but as complex pattern, a living embodiment of fire's creative aspect. In turn, Amara experienced Goku's unique perspective, the mortal who had transcended limitations repeatedly, who approached godhood not with ambition but with the simple desire to grow stronger, to protect, to meet the next challenge. She felt his connections to Earth, to family and friends, to the joys and sorrows of physical existence that cosmic beings rarely comprehended. As their awareness intermingled, the spiral of flame expanded outward, encompassing the entire chamber. Reality buckled, then steady. Around them as new patterns formed, neither wholly of cosmic design nor mortal understanding, but something bridging both. Kenna shielded her eyes as the light grew too intense even for her protected mortal form. The instruments in her hands recorded data that would revolutionize cosmic theory, if she survived to analyze it. At the center of the maelstrom, Goku and Amara remained connected, hands clasped as cosmic energy flowed between them. His partial transformation, once unstable, found balance through her ancient knowledge. Her rigid understanding of cosmic principles gained flexibility through his adaptability. When the light finally faded, they stood transformed, not merged but harmonized. Goku remained himself, yet his aura now displayed perfectly stable patterns of cosmic fire. Amara too remained distinct, though subtle changes in her appearance suggested evolution in her ancient nature. The realm around them had stabilized, the cracks in reality sealed. Outside, the flame sea settled into gentle waves, and the sky returned to its normal crimson-gold swirl. It worked, Kenna breathed, examining readings with astonishment. Perfect harmonic resonance without loss of distinct identity patterns. You've essentially created a new class of cosmic entity. Goku flexed his hands, feeling the new stability in his power. It feels right, he said simply. Like finding balance in movement during a perfect fight. Amara studied him with new perspective. You truly are unprecedented, Son Goku. Neither fully mortal nor traditional cosmic entity. Something like respect colored her tone. Perhaps the eternal flame chose more wisely than I realized. Before Goku could respond, the scrying pool flared with sudden activity. Images formed rapidly in the liquid flame, Earth again, but multiple locations simultaneously. Ice formations appearing without warning. Frost sentinels emerging in greater numbers than before. Cities gradually encased in crystalline structures that absorbed heat and light. The Frost Dominion makes its move, Amara said grimly. They sense the change in cosmic balance and strike while they believe us vulnerable. Goku moved to the pool's edge, studying the images with growing concern. They're attacking Earth. Why? Your homeworld has unusual significance in cosmic terms, Amara explained. A nexus point for multiple realities. By controlling it, they gain leverage against fire-aligned realms. She gestured to specific images. They're establishing anchor points for larger incursions. Kenna examined the data with scientific precision despite the dire implications. They're targeting volcanic regions first, Hawaii, Iceland, the Mediterranean, neutralizing natural fire energy to prevent resistance. We have to stop them, Goku said, resolution hardening his features. Earth has no defense against cosmic-level threats. Amara nodded slowly. Now that your transformation has stabilized, you can manifest there more completely without risking reality collapse. She studied the pool thoughtfully. But the Frost Dominion will have deployed forces beyond mere sentinels. This will require coordinated response. Then we work together, Goku said simply, offering his hand once more. Fire goddess and eternal flame, protecting Earth together. Amara considered his offered hand, something new flickering in her ancient eyes, not just cosmic calculation but genuine connection. A partnership between cosmic entities, she said, taking his hand. Unprecedented. Like everything about you, Son Goku. Kenna cleared her throat. If I might a suggestion. My research facility in Hawaii contains equipment that could help counter the Frost Dominion's manifestation. If we could reach it before it's completely overtaken. Goku nodded. Then that's where we start. He looked to Amara. Can you teach me to create portals between realms? With your stabilized power, you should be able to intuitively access that ability, she replied. Focus on your connection to fire energy on Earth, particularly near your scientist's facility. Goku closed his eyes, extending his awareness across dimensional boundaries until he sensed the familiar pattern of Hawaii's volcanic activity, now dimming as ice entities spread their influence. With a gesture that seemed to come naturally to his transformed being, he opened a pathway between realms. A portal formed before them, showing a view of Kenna's research facility perched on volcanic slopes now partially covered in unnatural ice formations. Ready, he asked, glancing at his companions. Amara nodded, summoning her chakrams of concentrated fire energy. The Frost Dominion will regret challenging us on your homeworld. Kenna adjusted her glasses, remarkably composed despite the extraordinary situation. Science advancing through direct confrontation with cosmic forces. Terrifying but utterly fascinating. Goku smiled. The same confident expression he had worn before countless battles. No. Illuminated by the inner light of cosmic fire. Then let's show them what happens when you mess with Earth. Together, they stepped through the portal toward a confrontation that would reshape Cosmi. See understanding, and perhaps Goku's place within it. Chapter 2. Embers of Rebellion. Hawaii's Mauna Kea Observatory Complex lay half encased in crystalline frost that defied the tropical climate. What had once been a pristine scientific facility now resembled a macabre ice sculpture, buildings partially consumed by translucent formations that absorbed rather than reflected sunlight. The unnatural call created a dome of condensation where it met the warm Hawaiian air, shrouding the mountain's peak in perpetual mist. Through this mist stepped three figures: Goku, his transformed appearance now stabilized into a harmonious blend of Saiyan warrior and cosmic entity; Amara, the ancient fire goddess moving with predatory grace; and Kenna Pyrolus, the scientist whose equipment cases clattered awkwardly against her legs as she struggled to keep pace. Fascinating crystalline structures, Kenna muttered, pausing to scan the ice formations with a handheld device. They're not just freezing the environment, they're actively consuming thermal energy at the quantum level. We're not here for research, Amara reminded her sharply. Your equipment is the priority before the Dominion's forces realize we've arrived. Goku raised a hand, signaling for silence as his enhanced senses detected movement ahead. Too late for that, he said quietly. From the mist emerged figures far more imposing than the sentinels they'd encountered previously. These stood 7 feet tall, their crystalline bodies structured like medieval knights complete with jagged ice armor. Where faces should have been, they possessed only smooth, reflective surfaces that mirrored distorted versions of whoever looked upon them. Frost Vanguard, Amara identified, her chakrams materializing in her hands. Elite soldiers rather than mere constructs. They possess individual consciousness. Can we avoid fighting them? Goku asked, surprising both women with the question. If they're actual beings rather than constructs. They've already detected us, Amara replied. Combat is inevitable. The Ice Knights moved with unexpected fluidity, spreading out in a practiced formation that cut off potential escape routes. One stepped forward, the featureless face suddenly rippling into a mouth-like configuration. The usurper god, it spoke, voice like ice cracking in deep winter. Surrender the stolen flame and face merciful extinction. Kenna edged behind Goku, adjusting settings on her scanner. Their resonance patterns indicate they're drawing power directly from a dimensional anchor point inside my lab, she whispered. Destroy that, and they'll be significantly weakened. Goku nodded almost imperceptibly, then stepped forward to address the knights. I didn't steal anything, he said, his voice carrying the dual resonance of mortal and cosmic being. The eternal flame chose me. I'd prefer not to fight you. The knight's crystalline form vibrated with what might have been laughter. Preference noted. Irrelevant. With synchronized precision, the knights attacked, not with crude weapons but with precisely calculated ice projections that formed and launched in the same motion. These projectiles didn't target physical bodies but appeared designed to disrupt the energy patterns of cosmic entities. Goku moved with practiced ease, his martial arts training seamlessly integrated with new cosmic awareness. Where ice projectiles approached, he created localized fields of accelerated thermal energy, not destructive flame but precisely calibrated warmth that caused the projectiles to lose cohesion. Beside him, Amara fought with the calculated efficiency of an ancient being who had perfected combat over eons. Her chakrams extended into spiraling ribbons of pure fire energy that sliced through the knights' formations, forcing them to reform their bodies continually. We need to reach the lab, Kenna called out, ducking behind equipment as ice shards shattered against her makeshift barricade. The dimensional anchor is amplifying their power across the entire island chain. Goku nodded, catching Amara's eye in silent communication. Without words, they coordinated. She intensified her attack, drive, awing the knight's attention while he dropped back beside Kenna. Hold on, he said simply, placing a hand on her shoulder. Drawing on his newly stabilized power, Goku focused on the molecular structure of their immediate surroundings. Not teleportation as he once knew it, but a more fundamental manipulation, accelerating their component particles to transit through solid matter while maintaining cohesion. Kenna gasped as her body temporarily converted to energy, passing harmlessly through the ice formations and solid walls of the laboratory. The sensation lasted only seconds before they reconstituted inside her research facility. Remarkable, she breathed, steadying herself against a workbench. Phase-state manipulation at the macroscopic level without loss of information cohesion. Is that what I did? Goku asked with genuine curiosity, his simple nature still evident despite cosmic transformation. It just felt right. The laboratory around them was a technological wonderland partially consumed by otherworldly ice. Advanced equipment lined the walls, some devices recognizable as enhanced versions of conventional scientific instruments, others seemingly designed from scratch based on theoretical principles. At the center stood a massive apparatus resembling an inverted pyramid of burnished copper and glass, now encased in crystalline formations that pulsed with cold blue light. The pyrometric resonator, Kenna identified, moving toward it with practiced urgency. They've converted it into a dimensional anchor. Her fingers flew over control panels that still functioned, bypassing frozen sections with improvised connections. It was designed to measure and catalog cosmic fire manifestations. They've inverted its function to suppress them instead. Outside, the sounds O.F. battle continued as Amara engaged the knights. Goku could sense her holding her own, but also that she was deliberately restraining her full power, likely to avoid cosmic-level disruption on Earth. How do we shut it down? He asked, studying the corrupted device. Kenna's expression turned grimly professional as she opened the largest of her equipment cases. We don't shut it down, we reclaim it. From the case, she withdrew what looked like copper gauntlets etched with complex mathematical formulas. These are designed to interface with cosmic fire energy, with your power channeled through them. A thunderous crash interrupted as something massive impacted the laboratory wall, buckling reinforced steel inward. Through the newly formed gap stumbled Amara, her perfect composure finally disrupted. Golden ichor, the cosmic equivalent of blood, trickled from a gash along her temple. They've called reinforcements, she announced, chakram spinning defensively as she backed toward them. Something far worse than knights. The wall exploded inward completely, revealing a towering entity that barely fit through the opening. Unlike the humanoid knights, this creature resembled a praying mantis carved from midnight blue ice. Standing 15 feet tall with crystalline pincers that could easily crush steel. Its faceted eyes rotated independently, assessing all three targets simultaneously. Frost Harvester, Amara identified. Genuine concern in her voice. They normally operate only in cosmic realms, harvesting energy from dying stars. The creature's mandibles clicked together, producing speech somehow. The flame will return to primordial state, it chittered. The usurper will be unmade. Kenna thrust the copper gauntlets toward Goku. Put these on. It's now or never. As the harvester lunged forward with frightening speed, Goku slipped the gauntlets over his hands. Immediately, they responded to his cosmic nature, the etched equations glowing with golden light as they integrated with his energy signature. Knowledge flowed into his consciousness, not as explicit information but as intuitive understanding of how the pyrometric resonator functioned and how it could be reclaimed. Keep it busy, he called to Amara, who nodded grimly before launching herself at the monstrous entity. Fire Goddess and Ice Harvester collided in a spectacular display of opposing cosmic forces. Where her chakram struck its carapace, superheated steam exploded outward. Where its pincers grazed her form, golden ichor crystallized momentarily before her innate heat dissolved the effect. Goku moved toward the corrupted resonator, the gauntlets guiding his hands to specific points on its structure. Through his touch, cosmic fire energy began flowing into the device, combating the ice energy that had corrupted it. The crystalline formations around it cracked and hissed as competing forces battled for dominance. The primary inversion node is in the central chamber, Kenna directed, monitoring readings from a portable device. You'll need to reach inside the core and physically remove the corruption. Nodding, Goku thrust his gauntleted hand into the heart of the machine, through layers of normal and supernatural ice. Inside, he felt something alien, a shard of absolute cold, not just absence of heat but negation of the very concept of thermal energy. His cosmic awareness recognized it as a fragment of something ancient and terrible, not merely ice but primordial stasis, the cosmic principle that opposed transformation itself. Behind him, the battle between Amara and the Harvester had escalated. The laboratory around them was coming apart, equipment shattering, walls buckling, ceiling supports groaning under stress. Kenna worked frantically to secure what data she could, seeking up systems even as they crashed around her. Goku, Amara called out, genuine urgency in her voice. That fragment. Don't touch it directly. Her warning came too late. Goku's fingers closed around the ice shard, intending to pull it free from the resonator. Instant agony lanced through his being, not physical pain but existential horror as the fragment attempted to negate the very concept of transformation that he now embodied. For a cosmic entity of fire, it was like having a core aspect of self being unmade. He roared, a sound carrying both mortal suffering and cosmic disruption. The laboratory windows shattered outward. The copper gauntlets blazed with counter-energy as Kenna's ingenious design fought to protect him from total essence dissolution. Through the haze of pain, Goku summoned the fighting spirit that had defined him long before godhood. His fingers tightened around the fragment, cosmic fire blazing against primordial ice in direct conceptual confrontation. Where lesser entities would have been unmade instantly, his unique hybrid nature, part mortal will, part cosmic principle, created an unprecedented resistance. Impossible, chittered the Harvester, momentarily distracted from its battle with Amara. No entity can touch the void shard directly. Kenna's eyes widened with sudden understanding. It's not just ice, it's condensed entropy. Theoretical absolute zero at the conceptual level. Her scientific mind raced ahead of her ability to articulate. The gauntlets are creating a buffer zone, but they weren't designed for this level of cosmic opposition. Indeed, the copper gauntlets were beginning to crack, mathematical formulas flaking away like burning paper. Goku felt his connection to the eternal flame flickering as the shard's entropy effect fought to unravel his transformed nature. In that critical moment, Amara made a decision. Disengaging from the Harvester with a maneuver that left one of her chakrams embedded in its carapace, she lunged toward Goku. Without hesitation, she placed her hands over his, adding her ancient power to his newer flame. Together, she said simply, her star-core eyes meeting his. Their combined cosmic fire surged through the failing gauntlets, creating a protective layer between their essence and the void shard. Where Goku's power had been insufficient alone, their unified energy created a perfect balance, not destroying the shard but neutralizing its effect long enough to withdraw it from the resonator. As the fragment came free, the inverted pyramid device hummed back to life, its original connection restored as copper components glowed with renewed purpose. Energy patterns throughout the laboratory shifted dramatically as the dimensional anchor reverted to its designed purpose, amplifying rather than suppressing cosmic fire energy. The Frost Harvester screeched in alarm as its power connection suddenly inverted, cosmic ice energies draining rather than flowing. Its massive form began to fracture, brittle crystalline segments falling away as it struggled to maintain cohesion in suddenly hostile energetic conditions. The resonator is creating a fire-dominant field, Kenna exclaimed, excitement overcoming fear as she witnessed her invention's success. It's forcing all ice-aspected cosmic entities into energy deficit. Outside, through the shattered walls, they could see the froze Knights similarly affected, their smooth forms developing cracks as they struggled to retreat into dimensional portals that were rapidly destabilizing. The Harvester, more powerful than its smaller counterparts, fought against the dissolution with terrible determination. It lunged toward the resonator in desperate attempt to destroy the device before its own destruction. Goku, still holding the void shard with Amara's help, met the creature's charge without flinching. Their unified cosmic fire had contained the shard's entropic effect within a perfect sphere of balanced energy, neither consuming nor consumed, but in perfect stasis. You wanted this, Goku said, offering the contained shard to the lunging Harvester. You can have it back. With perfect martial timing, a skill honed long before godhood, he released the sphere directly into the creature's open mandibles as it attacked. The harvester involuntarily consumed its own power source, but without the protective balance Goku and Amara had created. The effect was catastrophic for the cosmic ice entity. From inside, the void shard's entropy effect expanded unchecked, unraveling the harvester's essence from within. Its form imploded in a display of conceptual annihilation, collapsing into a singularity of absolute zero that hung in space for one terrible moment before blinking out of existence entirely. As the last traces of cosmic ice dissipated from the laboratory, Kenna rushed to check her equipment, fingers flying across keyboards and adjusting controls with practiced efficiency. "The resonator is fully functional again," she announced with professional satisfaction. "It's already beginning to counteract the ice formations across the entire island. Within hours, normal environmental conditions should return." Amara studied the dissipating energy patterns with ancient eyes. The Frost Dominion will not abandon their plans so easily. This was merely their first incursion point. Goku flexed his fingers, the copper gauntlets now fused permanently to his transformed essence, no longer physical technology but integrated aspects of his cosmic being. "At least now we know what we're facing," he said with characteristic optimism. "And how to fight it." Kenna's attention had shifted to a monitoring station that somehow remained intact. "Speaking of which," she said, her voice taking on new urgency, "I'm detecting another dimensional disturbance, not ice aspected this time." She adjusted controls, frowning at the readings. "It's fire-based but different. Structured fire. Intentional." Before any of them could respond, reality split open in the center of the ruined laboratory. Unlike the jagged crystalline portals of the Frost Dominion, this opening resembled a perfect circle of white-hot flame. Through it stepped a woman who immediately commanded attention. She stood tall and proud, her dark skin adorned with intricate patterns that glowed like embers beneath the surface. Her head was shaved except for a central strip of crimson hair that rose like a flame before falling in a long braid down her back. She wore armor of an unfamiliar design, overlapping plates resembling volcanic rock with molten veins running between the segments. At her hip hung a curved blade that shimmered with heat distortion despite remaining sheathed. Her eyes, human in appearance but burning with inner conviction, surveyed the laboratory before settling on Goku with unsettling intensity. "So," she said, voice carrying the accent of a world none of them recognized, "you're the one who stole our salvation." Amara stepped forward defensively, cosmic power gathering around her hands. "Identify yourself, trespasser. This realm stands under my protection." The newcomer's lip curled slightly, unimpressed by the goddess's display. "I am Serafina, war chief of the Ashen Territories." She addressed Goku directly, ignoring Amara entirely. "For generations, my people have awaited the eternal flame's awakening, our prophecy. Deliverance from the Frost Dominion's oppression. Instead, it chose an outsider with no connection to our struggle." Goku studied her with newfound cosmic perception, sensing genuine distress beneath her confrontational exterior. "Your people are fighting the Frost Dominion. Fighting, dying, enduring generations of suffering while cosmic entities play their abstract games." Serafina's hand rested on her sword hilt. But she made no move to draw it. "My world exists at the boundary between fire and ice realms. For centuries, the Dominion has expanded its territory at our expense, turning fertile lands to tundra, cities to crystal tombs." Kenna approached cautiously, scanner extended. "Fascinating. Her quantum signature indicates origin from a parallel dimensional plane where cosmic principles manifest physically in the environment. Her people would have evolved in direct contact with conceptual energy." Serafina cast the scientist an irritated glance. "We are not specimens for study, mortal." "My apologies," Kenna replied, genuinely contrite though unable to stop recording data. "Professional curiosity. Your civilization must have developed remarkable adaptations to survive in such conditions." "We adapted. We fought. We endured." Serafina turned back to Goku. "Our prophets foresaw the eternal flame's awakening, a cosmic fire entity that would restore balance against the Dominion's expansion. We prepared for generations, creating weapons and strategies designed to support this ally." She stepped closer, examining him with undisguised skepticism. "Instead, the power manifests in you, an entity with no knowledge of our struggle, no stake in our survival." Amara's patience visibly thinned. The cosmic principles do not exist to serve mortal needs, she stated coldly. Quote, the eternal flame chose its avatar based on cosmic necessity, not your prophet's convenient predictions. Serafina's expression hardened as she finally acknowledged the goddess. Easy words from one who has never watched her people freeze to death while praying for salvation. She turned back to Goku. I came to determine if you would honor the prophecy despite your unexpected nature. My scouts witnessed your battle here. You opposed the Dominion. That's a beginning. Goku considered her words carefully, his straightforward nature now tempered with cosmic perspective. I don't know anything about prophecies, he admitted. But I know about protecting the innocent. If your people are suffering, I want to help. Goku, Amara cautioned, cosmic entities cannot simply intervene in mortal conflicts. There are balances to maintain, consequences to consider. Convenient principles that justify inaction, Serafina countered sharply. The tension between them crackled almost visibly, antsy. And cosmic detachment clashing with mortal passion. Goku looked between them, sensing the deeper philosophical division their argument represented. Both perspectives have merit, Kenna offered diplomatically, surprising everyone with her interjection. From a scientific standpoint, cosmic balance must be maintained for universal stability, yet targeted interventions need not disrupt larger patterns if properly calibrated. Serafina's expression suggested scientific theorizing held little value compared to her people's immediate suffering. From a pocket in her armor, she withdrew a small cries. Tallene object, a perfect tetrahedron that contained what appeared to be a miniature inferno. This is a soul fire fragment from our temple, she explained, holding it toward Goku. It contains the collective suffering and hope of my people. See for yourself what the Dominion has done, then decide whether cosmic neutrality serves true balance. Goku hesitated, looking to Amara with unspoken question. The goddess's expression remained disapproving, but she offered a reluctant nod. Soul fire shows only truth, though often through emotional lens. Be aware of its influence. With characteristic courage, Goku accepted the crystal. The moment his fingers closed around it, the miniature flames within leapt toward his touch, recognizing his cosmic nature. Images flooded his consciousness, not just visual scenes but complete sensory experiences carrying emotional weight of thousands of lives. A young Serafina watching crystalline formations consume her village while elders maintained ritual fires in desperate defense. Children born with frostbite deformities despite the perpetual flames their parents maintained. Warriors wielding flame-channeling weapons in valiant but ultimately futile battles against advancing ice entities. Generations maintaining hope through stories of the eternal flame that would someday champion their cause. When the vision subsided, Goku's expression had transformed from curiosity to resolve. The crystal had revealed not just suffering but a people with remarkable courage and determination, qualities he had always respected above all others. Your people have fought bravely, he said to Serafina, returning the crystal with gentle reverence. I won't ignore that. Amara's displeasure manifested as subtle waves of heat distorting the air around her. The Frost Dominion's expansion into adjacent realms follows cosmic patterns established since creation. Direct intervention risks greater imbalance. With respect, Goku countered, surprising her with his directness. Balance that permits suffering on this scale isn't true balance. It's just stasis. He gestured around the ruined laboratory. The Dominion already breaks your rules by attacking Earth. Why should your principles protect them but not Serafina's people? The goddess fell silent, ancient certainties suddenly confronting new perspective. Kenna watched the exchange with fascinated attention, documenting what appeared to be unprecedented cosmic philosophical debate. Serafina's expression softened marginally, reassessing Goku with new consideration. Perhaps the prophecy wasn't entirely wrong, she acknowledged. You speak of justice with conviction, despite your unconventional nature. I believe helping your people and maintaining cosmic balance don't have to be opposing goals, Goku replied. But I need to understand more about what we're facing. He turned to Kenna. The void shard we found. It was more than just a weapon, wasn't it? The scientist nodded eagerly, glad to contribute her expertise. Absolutely. Its entropy pattern suggested fragment of a larger whole, potentially a cosmic scale weapon or entity. The resonance harmonic was consistent with PR. A primordial stasis energy predating current universal constants. In less technical terms, Amara translated, reluctant respect coloring her tone, it appears the Frost Dominion has accessed something ancient and dangerous, potentially a remnant from before the current cosmic order established balance between fundamental forces. Serafina's eyes widened with recognition. The heart of winter, she whispered. Our oldest legends speak of it, a cosmic entity of absolute stasis that existed before fire brought change to the universe. Our prophets believed it destroyed when the eternal flame first ignited. Not destroyed, Amara corrected grimly. Contained. Divided into fragments and sealed away in the void between realities. Her gaze turned to Goku. If the Dominion has recovered even one such fragment, they could potentially restore the primordial stasis entity, Kenna completed, scientific detachment momentarily overcome by genuine alarm. Theoretical models suggest such an entity see. Old reverse cosmic evolution itself, returning the universe to pre-singularity state. Goku absorbed this information with characteristic calm in crisis. So they're not just conquering territories. They're trying to fundamentally change reality. Return it to its proper state, in their view, Amara clarified. Many ice entities believe the universe's natural condition is perfect stasis, that and transformation are cosmic aberrations to be corrected. Serafina stepped forward, urgency evident in her posture. My people's homeland lies along the path they must follow to retrieve more fragments. Their increased aggression against us now makes sense, they're securing their supply route to the void rifts. She fixed Goku with an intent gaze. This changes the scope of our need. I came seeking help for my people. But this threatens all reality that embraces change and transformation. Will you help us, Flame Bearer? Before Goku could respond, Kenna's monitoring equipment began emitting urgent signals. Dimensional disturbance detected, she announced, checking readings. Multiple signatures, not Frost Dominion patterns. Reality rippled near the laboratory's ruined wall, distortio. Patterns unlike either ice portals or Serafina's flame doorway. This disruption spread horizontally like liquid mercury before solidifying into what appeared to be a perfectly reflective oval mirror. The surface rippled once before a figure emerged, a woman of striking appearance that immediately suggested non-human origin. She stood slightly taller than average human height, with pale blue skin that seemed to emit its own subtle luminescence. Her hair fell in cascading waves the color of pale sunlight, adorned with what appeared to be living flowers that changed hues as she moved. Most remarkably, her eyes contained no pupils or irises, only softly glowing white light that somehow conveyed emotion despite their uniformity. Her attire resembled nothing from earth, flowing fabrics she seemed to blend seamlessly with her form, colored in gentle gradients from azure to lavender. At her waist hung an intricately carved wooden staff topped with a crystal that pulsed with soft light. Behind her, through the portal, they glimpsed a breathtaking vista, floating islands covered in impossible foliage, connected by bridges that appeared woven from living light. The newcomer surveyed the laboratory's destruction with evident dismay before addressing them in a voice like distant wind chimes. I arrived too late to prevent conflict, she observed, her accent flowing and musical. The balance suffers further disruption. Amara straightened, recognition evident in her expression. Liana Embercrest of the Eternal Phoenix Sanctuary. Your presence is unexpected, yet necessary, the ethereal woman replied, her glowing eyes focusing on Goku with particular intensity. The cosmic ripples of recent events have reached even our isolated realm. The Guardian's Council required first-hand assessment. Serafina shifted subtly into a defensive stance, hand returning to her sword hilt. The sanctuary has maintained studied neutrality while worlds burned. Why emerge from isolation now? Liana turned toward the warrior woman, expression serene despite the implied accusation. The sanctuary preserves the essential flame species that maintain cosmic fire's diversity. Our neutrality res their survival regardless of temporary conflicts. She gestured toward Goku, but the eternal flame's choice of avatar changes fundamental equations. This requires direct observation. Kenna, unable to contain scientific curiosity, had approached as close as politeness allowed, scanner extended toward the newcomer. Fascinating bioluminescent properties, she murmured. And your quantum signa, Chure suggests partial phase state existence. Liana regarded the scientist with gentle amusement. Your instruments cannot fully capture my nature, drive. Pyrolus, though your attempts honor knowledge-seeking traditions. You know me, Kenna asked, surprised. The sanctuary observes all who study cosmic fire principles, Liana explained. Your research approaches truth more closely than most mortals achieve. Her attention returned to Goku, head tilting slightly as she studied him with those luminous eyes. You are not what was expected when the eternal flame finally chose conscious representation. Your nature remains partially mortal despite cosmic integration, unprecedented in our records. I get that a lot lately, Goku replied with a hint of his characteristic humor. Still figuring it out myself. That is precisely my concern, Liana said. Your power develops without proper guidance, risking cosmic disharmony. Already you contemplate intervention in matters traditionally outside Avatar jurisdiction. Serafina stepped forward, patience visibly thinning. While you debate cosmic proprieties, real people suffer and die. If the flame bearer shows more conscience than your sanctuary, perhaps your traditions deserve disruption. Liana remained unperturbed by the warrior's anger. Passion without perspective threatens greater suffering than temporary restraint, she replied evenly. The cosmic order exists for reason beyond mortal understanding. Maybe it's the cosmic order that needs better understanding of mortals, Goku suggested, surprising everyone with his simple yet profound observation. From what I've seen, too many cosmic entities view life as abstract patterns rather than beings with real experiences. Liana regarded him with new interest, luminous eyes brightening slightly. An unusual perspective for one who now embodies a cosmic principle. She stepped closer, staff tapping gently against the laboratory floor with each step. Yet perhaps this is why Flame chose you, to introduce new perception to ancient understanding. Amara, who had remained uncharacteristically quiet during this exchange, finally spoke. The immediate concern transcends philosophical debate. If the Frost Dominion truly seeks the heart of winter fragments, all realms face existential threat, cosmic and mortal alike. The sanctuary's records might contain critical information about the fragments' locations. Liana acknowledged, knowledge previously considered too dangerous to share. While you debate, Serafina interjected, my scouts report increased Dominion activity in the Ashen territories. They've begun converting our central temple complex, the site containing historical records of previous fragment manifestations. This information created visible concern even on Liana's serene features. If they access those records and combine them with what the sanctuary knows, they could locate all remaining fragments, Amara finished grimly. Goku, who had been absorbing these exchanges with thoughtful attention, stepped into the center of the group. His transformed nature had settled further since the battle, cosmic fire and mortal will achieving deeper integration. When he spoke, his voice carried both authority and compassion, a combination none of the cosmic entities present were accustomed to hearing together. Then our path is clear, he stated simply. We go to the Ashen territories. Protect Serafina's people, and secure those records before the Dominion can use them. Amara frowned. Direct intervention in another realm's conflict violates cosmic non-interference principles. Principles already broken by the Dominion, Liana noted with surprising agreement. Balance requires countermeasure when one side abandons restraint. Kenna, who been monitoring dimensional readings throughout the discussion, looked up from her instruments. The resonator can be modified into a portable device, she offered. Based on what we learned from the Void Shard, I could create equipment to counter similar fragments. Serafina studied the group with calculating eyes, seemingly reassessing her initial judgments. My forces maintain a hidden base near the temple complex. We've developed weapons effective against standard Dominion entities, but nothing capable of countering fragment-enhanced constructs. Then we combine our knowledge and strengths, Goku concluded, looking around the circle of unlikely allies. Cosmic wisdom, scientific innovation, tactical experience, and whatever I bring to the table. Unpredictability, Amara supplied with reluctant admiration. A quality the ordered minds of the Dominion cannot easily counter. Liana tapped her staff once against the floor, creating a sound like crystal bells. The Sanctuary Council would advise against this course, she stated, then surprisingly added, which is why I will not consult them before accompanying you. Some situations require direct observation rather than theoretical judgment. Serafina's expression suggested she found this reasoning inadequate but accepted the additional ally regardless. From within her armor, she produced a small obsidian sphere etched with flame-like patterns. "This waystone will guide us to my realm," she explained. "The dimensional coordinates shift constantly to avoid Dominion detection." Kenna hurried around the laboratory, gathering essential equipment with practiced efficiency. "I'll need 20 minutes to convert the resonator core into a portable configuration," she called over her shoulder. The gauntlets Goku wears should interface with the modified version, allowing for directed countermeasures against entropy effects. As the scientist worked, an unexpected moment of quiet fell over the others. Cosmic entities and mortals, brought together by circumstances none had anticipated, each contemplating the unusual alliance forming around them. Goku used the moment to approach Amara, who had moved slightly apart from the group. Her ancient eyes focused on distant considerations. "You don't fully approve of this," he observed quietly. The fire goddess regarded him with complex emotion. For eons, cosmic entities they maintained careful distance from mortal affairs. Not from indifference, as your warrior friend believes, but from harsh experience. She gestured toward the ruined laboratory. "Power like ours, applied directly to material realms, causes consequences beyond initial intent." "I understand caution," Goku replied. "But sometimes inaction causes more harm than action." "A mortal perspective," she noted, though without dismissal. "Yet perhaps one I've forgotten to consider after so many ages." Her expression softened marginally. "Your transformation continues to evolve in unexpected ways. The RTAL compassion I initially considered limitation increasingly appears to be essential counterbalance to cosmic detachment." Before Goku could respond, Kenna called out triumphantly. She approached carrying what resembled a copper and glass lantern, its interior housing miniaturized components from the original resonator. "Portable pyrometric resonator," she announced with evident pride. "Capable of generating localized fields to counter entropy effects and amplify cosmic fire manifestations. The range is limited compared to the full apparatus, but the focused application should prove more tactically versatile." Serafina examined the device with practical assessment. "Will it function in my realm, where cosmic principles have direct physical manifestation?" "Theoretical models suggest enhanced effectiveness in such environments," Kenna replied confidently. "Conceptual energy responding more directly to physical instrumentation creates amplification cascade rather than resistance." The warrior woman appeared satisfied with this explanation, despite not fully understanding the technical details. She turned to Goku. "Are you prepared to enter active conflict against the Dominion? Once we cross to my realm, their full attention will focus on eliminating you as priority target." Goku's expression showed the calm certainty that had carried him through countless battles. "I've spent my life standing against threats others couldn't face," he said simply. "That hasn't changed just because the scale has." With preparations complete, they gathered around Serafina as she activated the obsidian sphere. The waystone began emitting pulses of deep crimson energy that expanded outward, creating a spherical portal large enough for all to pass through. "The passage may be disorienting for those unaccustomed to dimensional transit," she warned. "Follow directly behind me and maintain physical contact with another if possible." Kenna secured her equipment with determined professionalism. Though her expression betrayed scientific excitement at experiencing cross-dimensional travel, Liana moved with serene confidence, apparently familiar with such transitions. Amara exchanged a meaningful glance with Goku, a silent acknowledgement of shared responsibility for whatever consequences followed. Serafina stepped through first, the portal's crimson energy flowing around her form like water. Kenna followed with remarkable courage for a scientist facing unknown physics. Liana passed through with graceful ease, her luminous form briefly outlined in crimson before disappearing. As Goku prepared to enter alongside Amara, she placed a hand briefly on his arm. "The path you choose changes cosmic history," she said quietly. "Be certain it is truly yours and not merely reaction to others' expectations." He considered her words with uncharacteristic thoughtfulness before responding. "The power chose me for a reason. Maybe this is it. Bridging understanding between cosmic entities and the people they affect." Together, they stepped into the crimson sphere, reality dissolving around them as they transitioned between dimensions. The sensation was indeed disorienting, not merely physical displacement but conceptual reorientation as fundamental constants shifted subtly around them. When reality stabilized, they stood in a landscape that defied conventional description. The sky above burned with perpetual aurora in crimson and gold, casting everything in warm, flickering light. The ground beneath their feet consisted of what appeared to be volcanic glass, smooth black surface with occasional veins of molten material flowing beneath transparent sections. Surrounding them stood a forest unlike any on Earth, trees with trunks of obsidian and foliage of perpetual flame that consumed nothing, casting dancing shadows across the landscape. In the distance rose mountains with peaks that periodically erupted in controlled gouts of fire, their sides carved with terraced cities built from dark stone and glowing crystal. The Ashen Territories, Serafina announced with evident pride despite the realm's obvious distress. Or what remains of them. Beyond the immediate area of vibrant flame forest, they could see advancing formations of crystalline ice, unnatural geometric patterns consuming the natural landscape. What had clearly once been a harmonious realm of controlled fire now existed in visible struggle against encroaching frost. "It's beautiful," Goku said sincerely, taking in the impossible vista. Serafina's expression softened momentarily at the genuine appreciation. It was more so. Before the Dominion's expansion, she gestured toward a particularly large settlement built into a mountainside. "That is Emberhold, our capital city and location of the temple complex containing the historical records." Even from distance, they could see the city was partially overtaken, its lower sections encased in crystalline formations that climbed the mountain like geometric vines. Occasional flashes of combat illuminated sections of the city where resistance fighters engaged Dominion forces. "My hidden base lies beneath that ridge," Serafina continued, pointing toward a formation of black glass spires that appeared natural but somehow too regular for random formation. "We should reach it before attempting to approach the city. My lieutenants will provide tactical assessment of current situation." As they began moving across the obsidian plain, Kenna activated her portable resonator, adjusting settings as readings fluctuated. "Fascinating environmental conditions," she commented. "Scientific curiosity temporarily overshadowing the realm's obvious peril. Cosmic principles manifesting as stable physical phenomena rather than ephemeral energy patterns. EALM exists at the boundary between conceptual and material reality," Serafina explained as they walked. "What exists as abstract force in your worlds takes physical form here, both advantage and vulnerability in conflict against the Dominion." Liana moved with unusual grace across the obsidian surface, her luminous form seeming almost to float rather than walk. "The Phoenix Sanctuary maintains several preserved habitats similar to your realm," she observed. "Though our records failed to capture the beauty of direct experience." Serafina cast the ethereal woman a sidelong glance. "The sanctuary's preservation approaches feel hollow when living civilizations fight extinction outside your protected enclaves." Rather than defensiveness, Liana's expression showed thoughtful consideration. Quote, "A perspective I have perhaps inadequately considered," she acknowledged. "The Guardian's focus on cosmic continuity sometimes obscures immediate suffering." Amara, who had been studying the landscape with ancient eyes, spoke suddenly. "Movement ahead. Dominion scouts." With practiced reflex, Serafina dropped to one knee, signaling the others to take cover behind obsidian formations. Approaching From the direction of Emberhold came what appeared to be mechanical owls constructed from blue-white crystal, their wings emitting soft chiming sounds as they flew in precise formation. "Frost sentries," Serafina identified in hushed tones. "Reconnaissance constructs that report directly to Dominion commanders. If they detect us, particularly you," she nodded toward Goku, "we'll face significant forces before reaching the base." Goku studied the crystalline constructs with tactical assessment born from countless battles. "Can we avoid them? Their sensory capacity extends beyond visual spectrum," Liana explained softly. "They detect energy signatures, particularly fire-aspected patterns, which all of us emit to varying degrees," Amara added. Kenna adjusted her resonator with quiet determination. "Perhaps not all detection is inevitable," she suggested, fingers manipulating controls with precise movements. "If I invert the resonator's field to absorb rather than amplify fire signatures." The device hummed softly as its internal mechanisms reconfigured, the copper components shifting position within the glass housing. A subtle field extended outward from the resonator, envelopen their group in what felt like cool pressure against the skin. Temporary energy masking, Kenna explained with hushed pride. It won't last long before the power cells deplete, but should obscure our signatures from standard detection methods. Serafina nodded approval before gesturing them forward in crouch-walking posture. They proceeded with careful movements as the crystal owls passed overhead, mechanical eyes scanning the landscape with methodical precision. For tense moments, it appeared Kenna's improvisation had succeeded. The sentries continued their predetermined flight path without deviation. Then, without warning, one construct halted midair, head rotating with mechanical clicks as its sensors focused directly on their position. "It's detected something," Serafina whispered urgently. "Prepare for." Before she could complete the warning, Goku made a split-second decision. Drawing on his newly integrated powers, he extended his awareness toward the curious sentry. Rather than attacking with destructive force, he projected a precise pulse of cosmic fire energy, not to destroy but to communicate. To everyone's surprise, the crystalline owl responded by landing nearby, mechanical head tilting with apparent confusion as it processed the unexpected energy pattern. Its crystalline body vibrated, producing sounds that resembled language without achieving it. "What did you do?" Amara asked with genuine curiosity. "Spoke to it, I think," Goku replied, concentration evident as he maintained the unusual connection. "Not with words, but with energy patterns. It's artificial, but has limited awareness, enough to recognize something doesn't fit its programming." The sentry's companions had noticed its deviation and began circling back, their wing chimes taking on more urgent tones. "Whatever you're doing, they're calling reinforcements," Serafina warned, unsheathing her curved blade which immediately ignited with controlled flame along its edge. Goku intensified his connection with the first sentry, cosmic perception allowing him to understand its fundamental structure. "It's not fully loyal to the Dominion," he said with surprise. "These constructs were created for own transformed fire entities, their original nature suppressed but not eliminated." Liana stepped forward, luminous eyes widening with recognition. "Phoenix sparks," she breathed. "Lesser flame entities from our sanctuary's protected species. We believed them extinct in wild realms centuries ago." Without hesitation, she raised her staff toward the confused sentry. The crystal atop it pulsed with gentle rhythm as she began singing in a language none of them recognized, notes that seemed to exist between standard tonal ranges, creating harmonics that vibrated through the obsidian ground beneath them. The crystalline owl shuddered violently, ice formations cracking along its surface as something within responded to Liana's song. From within its mechanical body emerged a small flame that burned with unusual coloration, shifting between azure and violet rather than standard fire hues. "Remarkable," Kenna whispered, instruments recording frantically. Conceptual override of imposed pattern structure. The freed spark hovered momentarily before the surprised group, then darted toward Liana, circling her luminous form with apparent recognition. The Guardian received it with gentle acknowledgement. Guiding the small entity to perch upon her staff's crystal where it continued to burn with delicate intensity. Unfortunately, the other sentries had witnessed their companion's transformation. Air mechanical bodies reconfigured instantly, wing structures shifting into more aggressive formations as they emitted high-pitched tones that carried across the obsidian plane. "Alarm protocol activated," Serafina announced grimly. Flame-edged sword raised defensively. "We need to move now. The base is just beyond that formation." The crystal sentries dove toward them with unexpected speed, no longer reconnaissance units but weapons deployed. Where they struck the ground, ice formations expanded outward in geometric patterns, transforming the volcanic glass into brittle frost structures. Goku moved with practiced combat efficiency, one hand raised to project a barrier of cosmic fire energy while the other guided the group forward. "Go," he called to the others. "I'll cover our retreat." Amara paused beside him, ancient pride momentarily set aside. "We fight together," she stated simply, chakrams materializing in her hands. The others raced toward the indicated ridge while Goku and Amara engaged the sentries. Their complementary fighting styles, his adaptive creativity and her ancient precision, made them formidable partners despite their brief association. where crystal constructs attempted to freeze the landscape. Goku introduced counteracting transformation energy. Where they attacked with ice projectiles, Amara's chakrams intercepted with perfect timing. Reaching the ridge formation, Serafina pressed her palm against an unremarkable section of obsidian surface. Lines of fire spread from her touch, forming intricate patterns that outlined a concealed doorway. The volcanic glass melted away, revealing a tunnel illuminated by contained flame sconces. Quickly, she urged Kenna and Liana inside. The scientist entered without hesitation, resonator clutched protectively. Liana paused at the threshold, staff raised toward the ongoing battle. They require assistance, she observed, singing several notes in that strange harmonic language. The phoenix spark on her staff flared in response before launching itself toward the combatants, multiplying into dozens of identical flames as it flew. The small fire entities swarmed around the crystal sentries, finding minute C. racks in their structures and infiltrating their internal mechanisms. Wherever they touched, ice receded as original fire nature reasserted itself against imposed form. Serafina called out to the EMB. Addled cosmic entities. The entrance won't remain open much longer. The base's defenses will activate with or without you inside. Recognizing the immediate concern, Goku and Amara disengaged from the increasingly confused sentries, whose transformation was accelerating under the Phoenix Spark's influence. They sprinted toward the doorway as more Dominion forces appeared on the horizon, larger constructs moving with ominous purpose toward their position. They barely cleared the threshold before the obsidian door resealed, cutting off pursuit. Inside, they found themselves in a network of tunnels clearly carved by controlled application of intense heat. The walls bore evidence of artistic attention despite martial purpose, scenes of ancient battles and cultural ceremonies etched into polished volcanic glass. Serafina led them deeper into the complex with confident navigation, passing occasional guards who wore armor similar to her own. These warriors acknowledged their leader with respectful salutes, though many cast suspicious glances toward the diverse group following her. Your people seem surprised by visitors, Goku observed as they progressed. The Ashen territories have stood alone against the Dominion for generations, Serafina replied without slowing. Outside assistance is unprecedented. Many believed cosmic realms had abandoned us to our fate. Not abandoned, Liana corrected gently. Many simply remained unaware of your struggle's true nature. The sanctuary's isolation, while preserving essential species, perhaps created unfortunate ignorance of suffering beyond our borders. They emerged into a larger chamber that clearly served as command center for the resistance. Maps projected in 3 dimensions showed Emberhold and surrounding territories, with color coding indicating controlled zones and enemy positions. Around these displays stood various officers engaged in tactical discussion, their conversations halting abruptly as they noticed the newcomers. A broad-shouldered man with intricate flame patterns scarified into dark skin approached Serafina with evident relief. War Chief, we feared the worst when you didn't return on schedule. His Adon. Tian shifted to the diverse group behind her, expression growing cautious. You found the flame bearer. And more, Commander Talon, she confirmed, gesturing toward her companions. Allies with knowledge and capabilities we need. The commander studied them with particular focus on Goku. He doesn't match the prophecies' description, he noted skeptically. Prophecies are interpretive, not literal, Serafina reminded him. His power is genuine, as is his opposition to the Dominion. That's what matters now. She turned toward a central display showing Emberhold's temple district. Status report on the temple complex. Commander Talon's expression darkened. Fully secured by Dominion forces as of yesterday. They've brought in specialists, ice scholars extracting information from our archives with methodical efficiency. He manipulated the display to zoom closer. Their defenses include frost knights, harvesters, and something new, entities our weapons cannot affect. The display showed Ristaline constructs unlike standard Dominion forces, beings that seemed partially transparent, their internal structures containing swirling darkness rather than ice formations. Void shard-enhanced entities, Amara identified immediately. They've embedded fragments into their elite forces. Kenna approached the display, analyzing the images with scientific precision. Similar to what we encountered on Earth. But more sophisticated integration. The entropy effect appears controlled rather than raw. The records they seek would provide locations of remaining fragments, Serafina explained to her officers. If combined with knowledge from other realms, they could potentially reconstruct the heart of winter itself. Murmurs of alarm spread through the command center as the implications became clear. Commander Talon straightened with renewed urgency. Then we must reclaim the temple immediately, regardless of cost. Not regardless of cost, Goku interjected, stepping forward to study the tactical display. There's always another approach besides frontal sacrifice. The commander's expression suggested skepticism toward strategic advice from an outsider, but Serafina raised a hand for his silence. The flame bearer and his allies bring perspectives we lack. I would hear their assessment. Liana moved beside the display, her luminous form casting gentle light across the projected images. The enhanced entities rely on continuous connection to their void shard fragments. Disrupt that connection rather than attacking the entities themselves. Exactly what my portable resonator could accomplish. Kenna added enthusiastically. With sufficient power amplification, it could generate a field that negates the entropy effect throughout the temple complex. The Dominion would have countermeasures against standard fire-based attacks, Amara noted, ancient tactical knowledge evident in her assessment. But a combined approach using different aspects of cosmic fire might overwhelm specialized defenses. Goku studied the temple layout with the tactical evaluation born from countless battles. We need to divide their attention. Multiple simultaneous approaches using different strengths. As the discussion progressed, Serafina observed with growing appreciation how quickly these diverse allies, cosmic entities, mortal scientist, and transformed flame bearer, integrated their knowledge toward practical strategy. Where she had expected philosophical differences to hinder cooperation, instead their varied perspectives created more comprehensive planning than her forces alone might have developed. The resulting plan leveraged each participant's unique capabilities. Kenna would modify her resonator with local materials to enhance its effect range. Liana would use her connection to Phoenix Sparks to locate and free any captured fire entities. Amara would engage the highest tier Dominion forces directly. Serafina and her warriors would secure extraction routes, and Goku would target the void-enhanced entities at the heart of the temple complex. As preparations proceeded, Goku found a moment to speak with Serafina privately. She stood before a memorial wall flame-etched names commemorated fallen warriors, her hand resting briefly on specific inscriptions with subtle reverence. Family, he asked softly. Some, she acknowledged without turning. Parents, brother, friends, teachers, each lost to the Dominion's expansion. Her voice remained controlled but carried unmistakable emotion. For generations we've fought alone, preserving what we could will. Watching our realm diminish season by season. You've shown remarkable strength, Goku said with genuine admiration. Not just fighting skill but leadership. Keeping hope alive against overwhelming odds. She turned to face him, studying his transformed appearance with renewed assessment. When I first located you, I expected disappointment. An outsider who gained power meant for our salvation. I questioned the prophecies that had sustained our people through darkest times. And now, he asked simply, now I consider that perhaps the prophecies were more sophisticated than we realized. They spoke of the eternal flame finding form to oppose the encroaching frost. They never specified that form would emerge from our people. A hint of wry humor touched her expression. Though our interpreters certainly implied it for morale purposes. Prophecies seem complicated that way, Goku observed with characteristic straightforwardness. In my experience, focusing on the present challenge works better than trying to fulfill predictions. Serafina laughed, a surprisingly warm sound from the stern warrior. A refreshingly pragmatic perspective from a cosmic entity. She extended her arm in a warrior's greeting. Whatever comes next, Flame Bearer, know that you've already brought something precious to my people. Renewed possibility where fatalistic acceptance had begun to take hold. Goku clasped her offered forearm in the traditional warrior gesture, his transformed nature automatically adjusting his cosmic energy to compatible levels for physical contact. I still don't fully understand this power or why it chose me, he admitted, but I know it feels right using it to help people who've fought so bravely. Their conversation was interrupted by Commander Talon's approach. War Chief, preparations are complete. Our forces await your command. Serafina nodded, warrior demeanor returning instantly. Gather everyone for final briefing. In the command center, the unlikely alliance assembled for last preparations. Kenna's resonator had been significantly enhanced with local materials, the copper components now interwoven with strands of volcanic glass that pulsed with barely contained energy. Liana communed quietly with several phoenix sparks that orbited her luminous form, apparently receiving information about their captive kindred. Amara studied tactical displays within. Seeing eyes that had witnessed countless conflicts across cosmic history. We move in 3 coordinated teams, Serafina announced to the assembled fighters. Commander Talon leads our warriors Thrug. The lower catacombs to secure extraction routes. Liana and Kenna, accompanied by our stealth specialists, will access the central chambers to establish the disruption field. Amara, myself, and the Lame Bearer will engage directly with enemy command forces to prevent organized response. She looked around the circle of diverse allies brought together by circumstance and shared purpose. Today we fight not just for the Ashen territories but for the cosmic balance itself. The Dominion seeks power that would rewrite reality in their image of perfect stasis, a universe without change, growth, or transformation. Goku stepped forward, his transformed appearance now fully settled into harmonious integration of mortal will and cosmic principle. The copper gauntlets that had once been Kenna's technology had evolved along with him, becoming extensions of his being that occasionally shifted form to reflect his emotional state. I haven't been the Eternal Flame's avatar very long, he said with characteristic humility. But I understand what's at stake here. The Frost Dominion believes transformation and change are flaws in reality, but from what I've seen, they're what give life meaning. He looked around at the assembled warriors whose determination had sustained their civilization against overwhelming odds. Your people embody the spirit of fire better than any cosmic principle, adapting, persevering, finding new paths when old ones fail. Today we fight alongside you not as saviors but as allies who recognize your struggle's importance to all existence. A murmur of approval ran through the Ashen warriors, not just for his words but for the sincerity behind them. Where they had expected cosmic detachment, they found genuine connection to their cause. Serafina raised her flame-edged sword above her head. For the eternal flame, for the flame, her warriors responded in unified voice, weapons igniting simultaneously in symbolic gesture. As they moved toward the tunnel entrance leading to their infiltration routes, Amara fell into step beside Goku. Your understanding evolves rapidly, she observed. You speak of cosmic principles with intuitive grasp that usually requires centuries to develop. I've always learned best through doing, he replied simply. And having good teachers helps. He glanced toward her with genuine appreciation. Your knowledge has guided me even when we disagreed on approach. The ancient fire goddess seemed momentarily disconcerted by his straightforward acknowledgement. Perhaps mutual learning occurs, she admitted after brief hesitation. Your perspective reminds me of aspects I've overlooked through ages of cosmic existence. Their conversation paused as they reached the tunnel junction where the teams would separate. Kenna approached, carrying her enhanced resonator with careful reverence. The modifications exceed my initial calculations, she informed them with scientific enthusiasm barely contained. Theoretical models suggest 90% disruption capacity against entropy effect entities within the target radius. Your adaptability continues to impress, Amara acknowledged with uncharacteristic praise for a mortal. Kenna adjusted her glasses with modest pride. Science transcends realm boundaries when fundamental principles are properly understood. Working with materials that directly manifest conceptual energy is every theoretical physicist's dream. Nearby, Liana concluded communion with her phoenix sparks, sending the small entities ahead through minute cracks in the obsidian tunnels. Her luminous eyes found Goku's across the gathering. They report extensive harvesting of fire entities throughout the temple complex, she informed him gravely. The Dominion converts their essence to power their enhanced constructs, a violation of fundamental cosmic ethics. Goku's expression hardened with rare anger. Then we have even more reason to stop them. Serafina rejoined them after final instructions to her officers. Time grows short. The extraction team moves into position now, creating initial distractions at the temple's outer perimeter. Through distant tunnels came the first sounds of conflict. Controlled explosions and the distinctive crystalline shattering of ice constructs under flame weapon impacts. The diversion had begun. Kenna and Liana departed with their escort of stealth specialists, moving through secondary tunnels toward the temple's central chambers. Their team would face the greatest technical challenge, establishing the disruption field without direct combat engagement. Goku, Amara, and Serafina took the most direct route, a tunnel that would emerge behind enemy command forces. This approach carried highest risk but would create maximum strategic confusion if successful. As they advanced through progressively colder tunnels, frost formations increasingly evident on obsidian walls, Serafina briefed them on final details. The temple's inner sanctum contains ROL.Dest historical records, texts predating even our civilization, preserved through countless generations. The Dominion scholars focused their efforts there. The records concerning void fragments would be among the most ancient, Amara noted, possibly dating to the cosmic restructuring that established current universal constants. My people preserved knowledge without fully understanding its significance, Serafina acknowledged. Certain texts were maintained through tradition alone, their meaning lost to all but specialized scholars. The tunnel ahead brightened suddenly, not with flame light, but with the cold blue-white illumination characteristic of Dominion occupation. They had reached the access point to the temple complex. Serafina silently signaled for final preparation. Amara's chakrams materialized, spinning slowly around her hands as she gathered cosmic fire energy. Goku focused inward, integrating his martial training with transformed nature in perfect balance between cosmic power and mortal technique. With synchronized movement, they emerged into the temple's lower chamber, a vast space of obsidian columns supporting a vaulted ceiling etched with astronomical charts of ancient precision. What had clearly once been a sacred space of learning and contemplation now served as Dominion Command Center, with crystalline constructs of various configurations arranged in strategic positions. At the chamber's center stood beings unlike standard Dominion forces, tall, elegant figures whose transparency revealed swirling void energy contained within loosely humanoid forms. SA void-enhanced entities surrounded a central platform where ancient texts lay open, their contents being methodically scanned by specialized constructs. The element of surprise allowed for crucial moments of advantage. Goku moved first, his transformed speed carrying him directly to the central platform before defense protocols could activate. With precise application of cosmic fire, he superheated the platform's edge, creating a barrier of intense thermal energy between the ancient texts and their captors. Simultaneously, Amara launched into aerial attack against the chamber's upper sectio, where crystalline formations were spreading across the astronomical ceiling. Her chakrams expanded into spiraling ribbons of cosmic fire that carved precise patterns through ice structures, disrupting their systematic advance. Serafina engaged directly with standard Dominion forces, her flame-edged sword demonstrating why she held the title of War Chief. Each stroke combined perfect martial technique with intimate knowledge of enemy weaknesses, her lifetime of combat experience evident in every movement. The void-enhanced entities responded with unsettling coordination, moving like aspects of single consciousness rather than individual beings. Where they touched obsidian surfaces, entropy effect spread outward, not merely freezing but fundamentally draining energy at conceptual level. Careful, Amara called from above. They're not just enhanced constructs, they're direct extensions of the fragment itself. Goku nodded acknowledgement, adapting his approach instantaneously. Rather than engaging the entities directly, he focused on the swirling void energy visible within their transparent forms. Drawing on his unique integration of cosmic principle and martial expertise, he projected precise pulses of transformation energy that disrupted the connection between void essence and crystalline container. The effect was immediate. Several entities stuttered in their movement as internal void energy fluctuated erratically. Serafina pressed this advantage, her warriors flooding into the chamber through multiple access points to engage standard forces while specialized targets remained disrupted. From somewhere deep within the temple complex came a sudden pulse of energy unlike either ice or fire, a rippling wave that passed through solid matter without resistance. Kenna and Liana had successfully activated the enhanced resonator. As the wave reached the command chamber, its effect on the void-enhanced entities was dramatic. The swirling darkness within their transparent forms suddenly condensed, unable to maintain diffuse state under the resonator's influence. What had been elegant, fluid entities became jerking, disorganized constructs struggling to maintain basic function. The disruption field works, Serafina called triumphantly, directing her warriors toward the vulnerable commanders. The battle's momentum shifted decidedly, Dominion forces losing coordinated function as their command structure destabilized. Ashen warriors pressed forward with generations of tactical knowledge, reclaiming their sacred temple section by section. At the chamber's center, Goku secured the ancient texts with careful reverence despite battlefield chaos surrounding him. These artifacts represented not just Serafina's cultural heritage but potentially crucial information about the greater cosmic threat they faced. Victory seemed increasingly certain until a new presence entered the chamber, a massive entity that appeared to walk through solid walls without resistance. Unlike other Dominion forces, this being possessed detailed features carved into crystalline form, a face of severe beauty with eyes containing actual void rather than merely suggesting it. Frost Archon, Amara identified with evident concern, descending rapidly to rejoin her allies. High-ranking cosmic entity with direct connection to the Dominion's leadership council. The temperature throughout T chamber plummeted dramatically as the Archon surveyed the battlefield with calculated assessment. When it spoke, its voice bypassed conventional sound to manifest directly in their minds. The usurper flame, the renegade goddess, the mortal rebels, how convenient to find all obstacles assembled for efficient removal. With casual gesture, the Archon generated a wave of absolute cold that froze several ashen warriors instantly. Where the wave touched obsidian columns, they shattered into molecular dust rather than merely cracking. This was power on entirely different scale than Prevue's opponents, true cosmic entity expressing fundamental aspect of primordial stasis. Serafina's expression reflected grim recognition of threat beyond her Foss's capacity to counter. Fall back to secondary positions. She commanded her remaining warriors, prioritizing their survival with leader's responsibility. Goku stepped forward, ancient texts secured behind him with barrier of concentrated thermal energy. Your forces are defeated, he stated directly to the Archon. Whatever you hoped to learn here, you've failed. The crystalline face formed what might have been smile, though it contained no warmth. Naive perspective from nascent entity. What you perceive as defeat merely expedites secondary protocols. With sudden, violent motion, the Archon thrust its hand toward the temple floor. Frost patterns expanded outward in perfect geometric progression, not merely covering the surface but fundamentally altering the obsidian's molecular structure. The entire temple complex shuddered. As transformation spread beyond the immediate chamber, it's converting the temple into dimensional conduit, Amara realized with alarm. Using the existing structure as framework for large-scale portal. The heart requires passage, the Archon confirmed, cosmic power continuing to flow from its form into the restructuring temple. This realm's position at reality boundaries makes it ideal point between void and material existence. Understanding dawned with horrifying clarity. The Frost Dominion hadn't invaded the Ashen territories merely for conquest or information. They sought to transform this strategically positioned realm into gateway through which recovered fragments could be channeled toward eventual reconstruction of the heart of winter itself. We need to disrupt the transformation immediately, Amara stated, ancient knowledge informing her assessment. Once the conduit stabilizes, even combined power couldn't close it. Goku looked toward Serafina, who understood the unspoken question in his expression. The temple stands directly above the realm's primary fire vent, she confirmed. The reason it was constructed in this location originally. Without hesitation, Goku dropped to one knee, placing his gauntleted hands directly against the obsidian floor. His cosmic perception extended downward through layers of transformed stone until he sensed the primal fire. Source beneath. Molten cosmic principle in physical form, temporarily suppressed by Dominion influence but not extinguished. I need your help, he said to his allies. All of you, channel your fire spects through me to counter the Archon's transformation. Amara moved immediately to his side, ancient pride set aside in recognition of necessity. She placed her hands over his, cosmic fire energy flowing between them as it had during his initial stabilization. Serafina joined them, her mortal connection to this realm's specific fire manifestation adding crucial dimensional resonance. From across the complex, additional energy surged toward them as Liana and Kenna recognized the developing counter-strategy. The scientists' resonator redirected its disruption field to amplify their combined effort. While Liana's connection to Phoenix sparks throughout the temple created network of fire essence conduits linking directly to their position. The Archon recognized their intention too late to prevent implementation. Futile resistance, it projected, increasing power flow into its nearly completed conduit. Cosmic principles cannot be denied their expression. Not denied, Goku responded. Cosmic understanding flowing through his integrated consciousness. Transformed. That's what fire truly represents, not destruction but change. Evolution rather than stagnation. Through his connection to the realm's primal fire vent, Goku introduced not raw destructive force but precisely calculated transformation energy, the fundamental nature of cosmic fire expressed through mortal understanding. Of growth and renewal rather than simple opposition. Where the Archon sought to impose rigid crystalline structure, Goku and his allies introduced adaptive, organic patterns that incorporated rather than rejected existing forms. The obsidian floor beneath them began to glow, not with destructive heat but with deep, resonant light that spread outward in spiraling patterns unlike either Dominion geometry or conventional flame. These patterns followed natural growth principles similar to those found throughout cosmic evolution, the mathematics of galaxies, flowering plants, and consciousness itself. The Archon struggled against this unexpected approach, its mastery of absolute negation finding no purchase against energy that didn't simply oppose but transformed. This cannot be, it projected. Genuine confusion evident in its mental voice. The primordial pattern allows no variation. The primordial pattern is evolution itself, Amara responded, ancient wisdom finding new expression through their combined effort. Stasis was never the universe's natural state, merely one possibility among infinite expressions. Throughout the temple complex, the Dominion's crystalline transformations began shifting, not shattering or melting but reorganizing into new patterns that incorporated aspects of both ice and fire in sustainable balance. The conduit designed for Heart of Winter fragments figured into self-regulating system that would reject entropy concentrations beyond natural cosmic parameters. The Archon's perfect crystalline form developed fracture lines as its fundamental understanding faced direct challenge. The Council will not accept this deviation, it projected with diminishing coherence. The pattern must be preserved. Serafina, still connected to the growing transformation through physical contact with Goku, addressed the faltering cosmic entity with warrior's directness. Your pattern would eliminate everything my people value: growth, adaptation, the forging of new paths. That isn't preservation but annihilation of possibility itself. Throughout the temple, liberated Phoenix sparks joined the expanding transformation network, their ancient fire essence introducing additional complexity to the emerging pattern. Kenna's resonator channeled this diverse energy with scientific precision, maintaining crucial mathematical harmony that prevented destructive resonance. The Archon made one final attempt to preserve its original purpose, focusing all remaining power into the partially formed conduit. For a moment, the balanced transformation wavered as primordial stasis energy surged through weakening barriers between dimensions. From the void beyond conventional reality came momentary glimpse of what the Dominion served, vast, ancient presence of such RFECT stillness that it appeared simultaneously crystalline and liquid, solid and gaseous. Something went wrong with this response, please try again. Create follow-up. ___. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.